He wants 50% of my lottery winnings, and we're not even married? You know how people always say, if I won the lottery, my life would change overnight? Well, mine did. Just not in the way I ever expected. Let me start by saying this: I've been dating my boyfriend, Kyle, for about 2.5 years. We're both 29, live in Indianapolis, and until recently, we shared a decent little rental on the south side. Nothing fancy, but cozy enough for two people who split rent and watch Netflix together more than they talk about the future. We weren't engaged. We weren't talking about rings or kids or any of that yet. Things were comfortable, and maybe that was the problem all along. Anyway, last month, I bought a scratch-off ticket at a Speedway gas station. One of those $30 big money spectacular ones. I only got it because I had exactly $30 in cash, and I figured, screw it. I scratched it in my car while the guy next to me was blasting some godawful country remix. And then I saw it. I didn't win a few hundred. Not a couple thousand. I hit the grand prize, $3.1 million. After taxes, it would shake out to around $1.9 million if I took the lump sum. Which I absolutely did. I called my sister first. Then my best friend. Kyle was the third person I told. His reaction? Not what I expected. He didn't scream or laugh or cry. He just went quiet. Then he looked at me and said, dead serious. So, what are we doing with it? I blinked. We? And that was the beginning of what's now the most stressful month of my entire damn life. The next few days were a whirlwind. I got a financial advisor, met with an attorney, shout out to Monica, queen of prenup logic, and started the process of moving the money into a high-interest account. Kyle was involved, kind of. He kept bringing up joint decisions and our next chapter. It wasn't sitting right with me. So I sat him down and asked, Kyle, what do you actually think is fair here? We're not married. We've split rent. I bought the ticket with my money. What are you expecting out of this? He didn't even hesitate. 50-50. I mean, we've been together almost 3 years. That's a common law marriage in some places. I was floored. Are you serious right now? I asked. He nodded. You wouldn't have had the peace of mind to even buy that ticket if it wasn't for me. I've supported you. Helped you through anxiety, your job change, everything. We're a team. Okay, I get the emotional argument. I really do. But this wasn't some team fund, it was my money. Legally. Morally? That was the gray area we were about to dive headfirst into. I told him I needed time to think. What I didn't expect was for him to turn cold. He started dropping comments like, must be nice to be rich and selfish, and some people forget who stood by them before the money came. But the cherry on top? Last Thursday, I came home early and caught him snooping through my safe. Not even subtle about it. Said he was just checking if the check was still there. Y'all. The check had already been deposited. He knew that. That night, I told him I wanted space. He packed a bag and left to stay with his brother, but not before tossing out this parting gem. You'll hear from my lawyer. His damn lawyer. And just like that, Kyle was going to try to sue me for half of my lottery winnings. We weren't married. We didn't own property together. No shared bank accounts. And yet, this man is about to wage war like I owe him a retirement fund. And you know what? I thought the money would be the hard part. Turns out, people are. So, the next morning after Kyle leaves, I get a call. Not a text, not a hey can we talk, a full-blown call from a number I don't recognize. I pick up, and it's some guy named Derek. Turns out he's a lawyer. And yep, you guessed it, Kyle's lawyer. He introduces himself like we're at a damn brunch. Hi, this is Derek Reynolds, legal counsel for Kyle Jennings. I'm calling in regards to a financial matter that's recently arisen between you and my client. I swear I almost laughed, but I let him talk. He tells me that Kyle is prepared to pursue a claim for equitable distribution of my lottery winnings, citing implied partnership, cohabitation, and financial interdependence. I'm just sitting there with my phone on speaker, eating cereal, wondering if this man got his law degree from YouTube. I finally cut him off and say, you do realize Kyle and I weren't married, right? No common law, no domestic partnership, nothing legal. And Derek, the smug mouthpiece, says, that's something the court can decide, based on the nature and length of your relationship. I hung up and immediately called my lawyer, Monica. Now Monica is not the kind of person you mess with. She's sharp, calm, and has this dry sarcasm that makes you feel safer just listening to her talk. I tell her everything, and she doesn't even flinch. Let him try, she says. He won't win. But he's going to make your life hell for a little while. She was right. Fast forward a week, and I get served while I'm at work. Like, a dude in a gray jacket walks into my office, I work in marketing, by the way, asks for me by name, and hands me a thick manila envelope. Everyone around me is looking like I'm some secret criminal. I wish I could have disappeared into my chair. Inside, a formal petition for financial compensation, basically Kyle's way of saying give me half or I'll drag your ass through court. And get this, he attached screenshots of old texts. Like one where I said, we'll figure it all out together, and another where I told him, everything I have, you have too. Out of context, I admit, it looked a little damning. But those were emotional words. Relationship fluff. Not legal promises. Still, Monica warned me this could turn into a reputation hit, especially if he goes public. And he would. So, I started preparing for war. I closed every shared account we had, only two, thank God, our Netflix and a food delivery app, changed my locks, and had the uncomfortable but necessary convo with my landlord about possibly going month to month. I needed flexibility in case things got nasty. But the real kicker? Kyle started doing interviews. I'm not kidding. Local blogs, one radio station, he told them he was the boyfriend left behind and that I changed after the money. He called me manipulative, secretive, and even said I was hoarding wealth during a housing crisis. Hoarding wealth. I live in a 2-bedroom rental and still buy store-brand cereal. But now my phone's blowing up with strangers calling me greedy. My mom even asked if I'd really abandoned him. It was insane. So here I am, trying to enjoy the biggest financial blessing of my life, and I can't even celebrate it. I spend my nights screenshotting tweets, gathering old messages, bank statements, anything Monica might need to prove that Kyle never paid more than 40% of rent and once Venmo'd me for half a pizza with the caption "You owe me LOL." We're heading to mediation next week. I don't know how it's going to go. I've got Monica in my corner and the law on my side, but it doesn't mean this won't get ugly. I never thought a lottery win would cost me peace, privacy, and a relationship, but here we are. And something tells me Kyle's got one more trick up his sleeve. I thought I'd seen the worst of Kyle when he started doing radio interviews and tossing around words like emotional labor compensation. I really did. But that was just his warm-up act. The week before our scheduled mediation, I was trying to keep my head down. Working from home, not answering unknown numbers, barely talking to anyone except Monica and my sister. The anxiety was eating me alive. I'd wake up at 3 a.m. drenched in sweat, thinking I heard someone at my door. Then Wednesday hit. It started like any other disaster, with a ding from my phone. A friend of mine from college, Jenna, texts me. "Girl, WTF is this?" Attached is a Facebook post from a group called Indie Truth and Tea. Think local drama, conspiracy theories, HOA beef, and unhinged neighborhood gossip. And right there, front and center, is a blurry photo of me and Kyle at Olive Garden from, last year. The caption? Local woman wins $3.1 million in the lottery, then kicks her loyal boyfriend to the curb. He supported her dreams, now she's ghosting him. Justice for Kyle. Broken heart money with wings #golddigger #team Kyle #IndieT. I swear to God I almost choked on my own spit. Not only did Kyle leak our personal drama to a gossip page with 40k members, but he included my full name, the name of my workplace, and get this, a fake Venmo screenshot showing that he had loaned me $10,000 last year for business expenses. I have never borrowed 10 grand from him. Not even close. I called Monica in an absolute panic. She told me to screenshot everything and not to respond publicly. But that's easier said than done when random strangers are sliding into your DMs calling you a disloyal snake and telling you to pay up, bitch. And then, it got worse. That Friday, I came home from the grocery store to find flyers taped all over my apartment door. They had the same photo from the gossip page, along with a block of bold red text. This woman stole millions and dumped the man who made her who she is. Do you trust her as your neighbor? It looked like something from a damn true crime podcast. My neighbor from downstairs saw me standing there, staring at it, and quietly said, "You okay, hon?" Like I was some battered war widow. I was humiliated, furious, shaking. I ripped every flyer down, locked my door, and didn't leave my apartment for the rest of the weekend. Monica filed a harassment claim against Kyle first thing Monday morning. She also sent a cease and desist to that shady Facebook page, who finally took the post down after a whole 5 days of viral madness. But Kyle? He didn't let up. He emailed my boss. Said I was mentally unstable and abusing company time to manage legal battles and that I might be a risk to brand integrity. Luckily, my boss is a 48-year-old gay man who's been through 6 divorces and once told me he thinks love is a chemical scam. He forwarded me the email with the caption, "Your ex is giving soap opera villain. You good?" Still, I knew it wasn't over. Not even close. When mediation day finally arrived, I showed up in a charcoal pantsuit Monica said made me look expensive and unapproachable. Kyle came in wearing a hoodie with a hashtag on it. Yes. A hoodie that said #Justice for Kyle. He sat down across from me, arms crossed, and didn't say a word. His lawyer did all the talking, still pushing for 50%, using the same tired emotional support, shared life argument. But Monica? She obliterated them. She presented texts, receipts, rent splits, a timeline of our relationship, even a psychiatric evaluation from my therapist, with my permission, proving that I had supported him emotionally more than the other way around. She dropped the fake Venmo screenshots like a bombshell. At one point, Kyle actually tried to interrupt the mediator to say money changes people. The mediator just blinked at him like he was speaking squirrel. In the end, they offered a settlement proposal, 15% of my winnings to walk away and end all legal action. I didn't even flinch. No, I said. He gets nothing. And Monica echoed it like a gavel. Not $1. Not 1 cent. So, mediation didn't go his way. His 15% offer was dead on arrival, and we walked out of that conference room like Monica had just finished dropping bodies in a courtroom drama. She was calm. I was vibrating. Kyle? He looked like someone had just cancelled his subscription to being a victim. I thought that would be it. The facts were on my side. His legal team looked exhausted, and the mediator straight up told us he had no legal standing to pursue further claims. But Kyle didn't accept that. 2 nights later, I get home late after grabbing drinks with a coworker. It's just past 10 p.m., and as I'm pulling into my apartment complex, I notice something weird. My front door is slightly open. Now I know I locked it. I double-check that door every single time I leave, ever since Kyle started pulling his TMZ antics. So I freeze. I don't get out. I just call the cops from inside my car. 20 minutes later, I'm sitting on the curb watching 2 officers walk in with their flashlights drawn. They tell me to stay put. What they find? Kyle. In my apartment. He broke in using a copy of the key he'd never returned. And get this, he wasn't even trying to steal anything. He was recording a video. They found him in my living room, standing in front of my bookcase with his phone on a tripod, filming some dramatic monologue like a deranged YouTuber. The video? I got a copy of it later when it somehow made its way online, of course. He starts it with, "This is for the truth seekers. If anything happens to me, let it be known I was silenced by greed. I wish I was making this up." The man looked like a Dollar Tree conspiracy theorist. Police charged him with unlawful entry and attempted intimidation. Monica pushed for a restraining order, which was approved within 48 hours. Kyle was released on bail but had to stay 200 feet away from me at all times. The internet turned on him overnight. People finally realized, oh wait, this dude is completely unhinged. Even the indie truth and tea crowd started scrubbing his hashtags. But the final nail in the coffin? Kyle's own lawyer dropped him. Cited ethical concerns and irreconcilable differences. Which, in legal speak, basically means, our client went full bonkers and we want nothing to do with him. So where am I now? Well, it's been 6 weeks. I've moved to a new place, better neighborhood, closer to work, with actual security cameras. I upgraded my car, started a savings portfolio, and brace yourself, donated $50,000 anonymously to a local women's shelter. I also finally took that trip to Colorado I'd been putting off. Sat in the mountains for 3 days, drank fancy coffee, and remembered what it felt like to breathe without someone else trying to monetize my existence. Kyle's been quiet since the restraining order. His social media's gone dark. A friend of a friend says he moved in with his mom and tried launching a podcast. It lasted 2 episodes. And as for me? I haven't spent much of the money. Turns out, after you go through something like this, the peace of mind is more valuable than any dollar amount. I'm planning carefully, investing slowly, and keeping my circle so damn tight you'd need a crowbar to get in. But here's the kicker. 2 nights ago, I got a letter in the mail. No return address. Inside, on plain white paper, was 1 sentence. You'll regret choosing money over love. No name. No signature. Nothing else. I gave it to Monica. She's already talking to law enforcement. So yeah. If you ever wonder what winning the lottery is really like, let me tell you. It's not champagne and yachts. It's finding out who people really are and realizing that the biggest jackpot is getting out of that mess with your soul intact.